be confirmation visibly of one fatality related to this.
Wow.
Going over our notes here, for those of you joining us, Mark Cutter-Robles and Colleen Sullivan here on set as we break in with this breaking coverage. LAPD telling us that this occurred at 12:12, so just after the noon hour, and that it was reported as a vehicle that first hit a bike and then a building. So there was a bicycle also involved in this. Nothing further beyond that regarding the circumstances. We do know one patient who was transported was a 37-year-old woman. So that's at least a partial ID on one of the victims, a 37-year-old woman. Beyond that, unclear the at least 6 additional victims. But there were 7 patients at the scene, at least in serious condition. Others possibly hit prior to the structure collision at the address. That is according to LA City Fire.
Yeah, you know, I don't see the bike there right now if there was a bicycle involved in this, but that also very concerning, because if you know these areas, you see a lot of people on
What's
their
up, guys?
bikes,
This is
on
insane.
e-bikes,
Some
on
car drove through
e-scooters.
a grocery store.
They're obviously shaken up.
Multiple people injured. I think there's a body on the floor.
And a lot of people. This had to be so scary for them to witness.
What is wrong with people these days, man? It was just crazy.
Be inside that store to hear that huge crash. Everybody, you know, you just hear something like that and it just sends your heart into instant panic.
When you think of the timing, Colleen, again, as you mentioned, I mean, this is Westwood. This is a very busy area right near the university as well. It's the lunch hour. People who are on their lunch break, going to different places. And in this case, the grocery store, you see a victim right there being wheeled away. He appears to be at least minor injuries for that individual. But we're going to try to get a better idea of the number of victims in this and the severity, including that firm confirmation if someone in fact has been killed in this incident. A lot of focus there on the green mat, at least 2 additional victims I can see in that vicinity.
Yeah, they've had a couple of people on that one, which is reassuring that more people are less critically injured. I haven't seen anybody on the yellow, but when we first broke in with this breaking news, we saw a few people on the red triage mat where you saw first responders tending to their needs. Again, on the left side, we said we're not quite sure.
Look at that! Look at the car there.
That there is a white sheet over one of the victims that was removed from this building, and you could see that car. I mean, so far inside that building. It wasn't a little partially inside the building. It is absolutely inside that building. We know these buildings. We know this area. It's very busy. A lot of foot traffic. Again, a lot of people on vehicles and bikes and scooters and e-bikes. So a lot of action in this area, and we know it's busy with the lunchtime hours. So again, we're trying to monitor exactly how many people have been hurt, how many have been transported to the hospital, what caused this vehicle to lose control and really just violently slam right into that building and all the way inside it.
Yeah, for those folks who are just tuning in, we know it's the lunch hour. Some people may be dipping in and out of our breaking news.
What's up, everybody?
Here,
welcome.
To reset
breaking
the scene,
news.
this is occurring
live
in
on the scene. This
That
is crazy.
Is the 99 Ranch Market. You see the entrance to that grocery store, the bakery area, and you see that silver sedan right there that is fully inside the store. Reports of at least 7 patients who were hit by that vehicle and potentially a bicycle that was also involved upon the initial impact. So multiple victims, and we are working to clarify and to confirm with LA City Fire any fatalities associated.
Speaking of LA City Fire, we have Lindsay Lancy on the phone right now with us to talk to us. Lindsay, I just want to make sure that, is it Lancy, your last name?
Lance.
Lance. So Miss Lance, can you just tell us exactly what you're hearing about what happened here at the 99 Ranch Market?
Yes, Mark and Colleen, thank you. We are trying to get our arms around this incident right now. As we can see on your feed, we have several apparatus and firefighters there. Preliminary reports, like you said, we had at least 7 patients immediately identified inside that structure. Some of them were trapped underneath this vehicle. Unfortunately, we do not have the circumstances under which this vehicle entered the bakery portion of the 99 Ranch Market. Oftentimes, of course, these are medical incidences for the drivers that turn into these larger incidents, but we do not have preliminary information about any circumstances. I will update you on the patients we have. Again, all preliminary, but we have at least 3 patients identified in at least serious condition.
Serious condition,
of
at
course,
least 3.
those could progress to critical or even grave. We do have at least 2 patients identified with minor injuries, and sadly, we are reporting at least 2 patients declared deceased on the
At least
scene.
2 dead.
Oh, that is
What the
heartbreaking to
hell?
hear.
What the hell? How does this
Lindsay,
happen,
I know
dude?
this is all just unfolding,
So
but
crazy, man.
can you tell us, the initial call? Was there a bicycle involved? Can you tell us a little bit about that with this initial call out to the first responders?
Sure. We identified a bicyclist. One of our incoming apparatus actually identified an injured bicyclist on the way to the incident. As far as we know at this point, that bicyclist ended up being okay, but that certainly did alert us to the fact that there may be more patients outside of this immediate scene that may have been struck and injured prior to the vehicle colliding with the structure.
So that would lead you to believe that the cyclist was hit in one certain location. The vehicle continued on before hitting the building.
That's what it sounds like could be possible. Again, this is all speculation at this point. It's a dynamic scene, and like I said, we are just trying to get our hands around this.
Absolutely, and we so appreciate your time and your information. Let me ask you this clarifying question regarding, again, so heartbreaking to hear and to confirm the 2 dead from this incident. We do have eyes from Air 7 on what appears to be one of those bodies on the street there, just off of Westwood Boulevard. Additionally, for the second victim who was killed, is there any confirmation? Was that the driver of the car, potentially a medical issue, or anyone else inside the building, a body that we can't see? Where is that second victim, the second person who passed?
We don't have confirmation of that, Mark. We do not know at this point if any of these patients are the driver. So we are just trying to sort all that out right now and get tallies really at this point.
Yeah, it's got to be. Obviously, it's a very fluid situation. But again, this is one of those things where just to see the massive response from fire crews. And again, we were talking about it earlier, Lindsay, when you see your triage mats go out, that's one of those moments when you know that they really do believe that there are so many victims that they need to identify them in certain categories of their severity of their injuries.
Yeah, absolutely. For these, what we call multiple casualty incidents, which is a very scary term for people to hear, but it just means injured people. It is important for us to identify those victims who are viable and who we can start treatment on, and those, as we see, who are beyond our medical help and capabilities upon our arrival at the scene.
This is something that these firefighters go into deep training for. You hope that these incidents do not occur, but they are ready, and we see that from the response and everything you just detailed about laying everything out, being ready just in case. From Air 7, we're seeing some of the work still around the structure. Can you explain what may be happening regarding the building and the immediate scene with the car still inside?
Sure. One of our main concerns anytime we have any kind of vehicle into a structure is stability of the structure so we don't have any more injuries, collapse, etc. What this looks like right now is that it was pretty much confined to the windows of that structure, likely not supporting beams. But we do have the Los Angeles Department of Building and Safety en route and ready to assess that building. We do have USAR teams and heavy rescue teams on scene in case any further stabilization needs to happen, either inside or around that building, to prevent any further problems.
And Lindsay, now what is next in this situation? Because we obviously see the LAPD also on hand, but they are usually come to kind of help within a situation.
So pretty crazy, massive scene here. They reported at least two dead in Westwood neighborhood of Los Angeles. And a vehicle crashed directly into a grocery store. 7+ injured, people in critical condition. They said at least 2 deceased. Something about a bike, still trying to find out what happened with the bike. No word on what happened. Was it a driver error, medical condition, intentional? I feel like every day I'm seeing all these crazy stories. You turn around and there's like a vehicle lodged into a building, whether it's a business or a residential. And you're like, how the hell does somebody get inside of this shit like that? Pure chaos.
Collecting data right now to help us figure out what exactly happened.
And one piece of new information that we're getting, just something here to add in, according to LAPD, telling ABC's Alex Stone, who's also working on this situation, that the driver involved in the incident did at least remain on scene. This is not a hit and run situation. So everyone accounted for that was involved in the incident. So we'll set that issue aside. Lindsay Lance here on the phone with us with LAFD. We do mention the 2 people who passed away from this incident. Any early indication on gender, age of these people? Again, this hit the bakery area, perhaps an area where a wide range of people are eating, enjoying their lunch. Do we know anything about who these people are? Just male, female, age range? Has that been given to you?
No, Mark, unfortunately not. And I will bow out here soon so I can get some updates for us. I know when we see scenes like this on TV, families get worried, and so we do like to give as much information as we can to either put minds at ease or to, get folks checking on their loved ones. So I do appreciate you taking the time to talk to us, and I will hopefully have more information for you regarding those deaths and injuries as this progresses.
Okay. Lindsay Lance, LAFD, we so appreciate the time that you gave us, and thank you. We'll stand by for any updates that you are able to give us later in the day. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Well, you just heard it, Mark. So just incredibly sad news, because we're learning about all the patients and what the violence of this crash is. They're still trying to figure out exactly what caused it. But, the takeaway is that we now know there were 2 fatalities. So 2 people died in this accident that happened. We're going on, I guess, about 40 minutes or so. It happened just after noon, and we know that there were 3 patients. They were at least in serious conditions, but she also said that
some reportedly trapped. People were trapped too.
We know that
initially
there were 2 with minor injuries, and then again 2 people who did lose their lives. But it's interesting because we do not know exactly what caused this crash. When the initial call came out, the firefighters, they were responding. They saw a bicyclist who was injured on their way.
Yeah,
so
the
now,
cameras is weird
obviously,
for sure.
There's probably other scenes of maybe cars that were hit, people that were injured, at least a lot of witnesses. So this is a large area that they're going to now have to investigate, not just this grocery store that the car ended up flying into.
You bring up a good point, the potential that this was kind of a trail or a path of destruction. Air 7 giving us these really important images and the view from high above. I'm wondering if Air 7 has any eyes on if there was any other destruction to the left here, further down the street, assuming that the vehicle did come from the north to the left of the camera. If there's any other cars that seem to be damaged, you see all those LAFD vehicles, and maybe up to the next intersection, they have it blocked off there. And more fire engines as well. You see Station 61, they're responding.
Sorry, guys. Let me just open this new. My computer really needs a restart really bad. But let me just move this over. Actually, yeah, let's do this. Do it over here.
These type of crashes, they do occur. This is something that happens, weekly, if not daily, across Southern California.
These crashes all the time.
Hope that those victims, there are not victims, that people are not injured. And in this case, of course, people who have passed away, which is just terrible to hear. But oftentimes we do hear that it's someone elderly who
Yeah,
know,
the gas and the brake
absolutely.
pedal.
And this is at an intersection as well, so you don't know if any other vehicles were involved. That has not been reported, simply that there was a bicyclist who was also struck in this incident.
And we're not exactly sure, we're seeing the two vantage points, Mark, here. We're not exactly sure what direction this vehicle was coming from. It happened obviously on Westwood Boulevard, but we don't know if it came from this side street, because you can see it's the intersection here. So
that's true.
We don't exactly know where that injured bicyclist was to alert authorities that they need to be looking somewhere else. As we see Air 7 panning out and looking around, we don't see any emergency crews on some of these adjacent streets right there, but you just see a huge presence right there. And again, talking about the LAPD, they're having to be out there to monitor traffic, because this is really impacting. This is a busy area, especially at this time.
Yeah. Pointing out to our viewers, as you're watching our breaking coverage here, Air 7 on the left, there is ground video on the right from earlier following the incident. You can see the image of officers and firefighters right on the outside of where this vehicle went into the 99 Ranch Market. So this angle pretty close to that impact area, but that is ground video on the right, and Air 7, of course, on the left, as this remains just a massive response, scene, and developing investigation to figure out who the driver is, what caused that person to lose control, go into the building, and then any updates that we may get regarding those victims. We have 2 people who were killed, 3, as Colleen mentioned, that were in serious condition. Lindsay Lance of the LAFD telling us that those serious injuries could potentially be upgraded to grave. We saw one person who was taken away on a stretcher maybe 10 minutes ago. They appeared to be, we did not zoom in, but they appeared to be in bad condition.
Badly injured. And the other thing is that many times when we know this is, again, a fluid investigation that's happening right now. You can see all the different law enforcement and first responders coming out there, and you know that there's search and rescue teams that are also out there, the urban search and rescue team that's also been called. But as of right now, no signs are pointing that this was a criminal act. You didn't see anybody taken into custody. Obviously, an investigation is fluid, but as of right now, they have not said that this is a criminal act that was committed. Right now, all signs point to that it might have been a medical emergency or something, but not necessarily out of a malicious intent. And you can see, cars are trying to get out of the parking garage right there too. This is very disruptive for a lot of people who thought that they were just going to go take a quick trip to the store for their lunch break, and possibly, injured or witnesses here. But we don't see all the witnesses that we saw earlier, Mark. Remember, right moments ago when we first came onto the scene, we saw a lot of witnesses standing right next to the building, and we don't really see them. Maybe they brought them somewhere else.
I'm sure that they pushed them back from the scene because they were, as you mentioned, they were basically right upon the building on that sidewalk. They have since been cleared out of the area, which is something that law enforcement may do as they kind of get a handle on this situation. They kind of start extending the perimeter of their investigation. They push people out, and sometimes that includes the media as well. On that note, given the severity of this tragic incident, we of course are going to be following this throughout the day. We do have reporters who are heading to the scene to bring us the very latest throughout the afternoon on the ground to speak with law enforcement, to speak with firefighters, and to speak with the potential witnesses as well. So again, this is happening in Westwood, a vehicle that has crashed into the 99 Ranch Market. 2 dead, 5 others injured. Crews are now assessing the building. We will have the very latest this afternoon on Eyewitness News at 3 p.m. and online, abc7.com. Thanks for watching.
Oh, okay. All right, we are back with our breaking news. We've been covering for almost at least 45 minutes now, where there has been a deadly crash that happened in Westwood. We see it. If you zoom in, Air 7's live over the scene. There's a car that crashed into the bakery part of the 99 Ranch Market right there. We know 2 people lost their lives. 2 people are dead. 5 others were injured. We know that 3 of them were in serious condition, but their condition can change. Sadly, we see right there's a white blanket over somebody who did lose their life. We know another person, we did not see that body taken out. Mark, we were talking about the triage. When we initially came onto this, we saw quite a few people on the green triage mat, and then we didn't see anybody on the yellow, and then we saw a few people on the red, which meant they were in the most serious condition.
Yeah, so just a range of injuries, including those 2 that lost their life in this incident. So we are continuing our coverage now.
You never
on
know.
our
You could just be out
streaming channel.
shopping.
We were joining our viewers on air on ABC7 as well for the past 45 minutes or so, and now continuing on our streaming. So we're going to stay on this to gather any developments, the very latest on this developing investigation, the massive response. It does seem, again, that all of the most serious patients have been removed from the building, removed from those color-coded mats. There appears to be a couple of individuals still in the green area. I saw a woman a moment ago right there to the left. She seems to be calm, seems to be okay. But she
is crazy that people actually died from this.
More minor injuries.
Yeah,
just an accident. It was just an accident.
We've been covering this.
Did they black out?
She seems to be the last person that they are taking in for evaluation. They're
the numbers on my YouTube shit are fucked
walking
up,
away.
man.
She was able to walk.
Damn, bro.
That's
very
good to
slowly,
see.
And they are assisting her. So
you think of all of the witnesses too, who were right there when this happened, to the entrance of the building, right at the intersection, but potentially at the crosswalk, and then the folks who were inside who saw this happen, maybe just feet or inches away from that impact. Again, for those people who maybe just be tuning in here to our streaming coverage, this is at 1350 Westwood Boulevard in Westwood, the corner of Rochester Avenue. As we have been mentioning, this is a very, very busy area. All of Westwood is, but this is the main drag where there are those shops, the restaurants. And again, this happened during the lunch hour, the call coming in just around 12:12 this afternoon, as so many people were likely on their lunch break, leaving work, leaving the university, and coming down here to do their lunchtime business.
Right. And we're going to learn more about the victims involved in this, and we're going to learn more about the circumstances that led to this crash. Again, with any big story, any developing story or breaking news story, it's always sort of like a drip. You get a little drip of new information as investigators can give them to the media, or we have reporters obviously on the scene there as well. But we're trying to figure out exactly what happened, not leading to any kind of criminal thoughts or anything like that, all leading sort of to a medical situation that may have occurred for the driver of the car, especially when, as we spoke with the LA Fire Department, Lindsay Lance said that when responding firefighters were on their way, they came across an injured bicyclist that was hit possibly by the same driver. So they're obviously monitoring the path this driver took that wound up inside this market, but there could be cars that were hit. There could be other people who witnessed something happening. I hope that, certainly nobody else was injured. But again, you can see a lot of people are interested in looking at this.
Stay indoors, man. Don't go out anymore.
Watching this from Air 7.
Stay inside all the time.
Yeah, so many people right in that vicinity. There are also those apartment buildings and complexes. And so a lot of people are going to be impacted by the closures and the investigation that is now ramping up. We do have live coverage on the ground now joining us. Eyewitness News reporter, and who is this? Is this Leo Stallworth? Leo, what can you see? I know you just arrived, a really developing investigation. Walk us through what you're seeing from your vantage point.
Well, I'm seeing a lot of folks out here standing, obviously, with their cell phones out, just in shock, watching this developing tragedy here. As you mentioned, 2 dead, 3 injured, possibly gravely injured. A car into the market just across the street from where we are right now. We're at Rochester and Westwood. A huge police presence. Of course, EMS crews are here, firefighters are here. This is a massive scene, and more people on the side of the crime tape that we're on are showing up, just mortified at what they're seeing, in disbelief that this unfolded wondering why it unfolded, what's going on here, how did the person, whoever was driving the vehicle that smacked into the ranch market here, apparently it's the ranch market, we can't see on the other side, so we cannot see the vehicle into the market from where we are right now because our view is being obstructed by the large apparatus of firefighting vehicles that are here right now, and of course the EMS crews and just people standing all around us. This is really shocking for a lot of people to see this as it is continuing to unfold. And of course there's a triage area set up where EMS crews are helping some of the victims as much as they can, and we're wondering how many of these people are going to be taken out of here and when that will happen. We know Air 7 is above viewing this as well. So this is just a really horrible scene right now. Did you folks see what happened here? Hey, sir, did you witness what happened here?
No, I did not.
Did you hear?
I did not.
You didn't hear anything? Okay, all right. Anyway, I'm approaching some folks who are here to determine whether or not they witnessed what happened. I'm told that a PIO with the police department is going to be here shortly, and hopefully we'll get more information about what's unfolding here. This is horrible. Anyway, man, this is bad.
It really
I'm going to
is.
send it back to you for now, brother.
It is heartbreaking, Leo, and we're even more concerning and tragic to this situation.
A third
We've
victim
just
has
learned
died, guys.
Another person
Third victim.
has been lost their life to this
Jeez.
tragedy. So now we know there are 3 people who died. We know 7 others are injured. As Leo said, there's a lot of activity there. We're looking forward to getting an update by the public information officer. But again, this is such a fluid situation. As we heard from the LAFD, Lindsay Lance said 3 people were in serious condition, but possibly it could move up to grave. One of those 3 people has now died from their injuries. We do not know the other conditions of the other 2 patients that she said were in at least serious, but we know that this was a very violent car crash right into the bakery department, and people just did not, didn't see it coming, and they lost their lives.
How fast were they going?
It must have been very crowded right there at the entrance to the bakery area of the grocery store. And those expanded numbers just given to us really is a worst case scenario. How often do we report on these vehicles that go into businesses, into stores, and you may have some injuries, but to have 3 dead in this incident, incredibly rare and heartbreaking for the extent, the impact of this.
Right, and I'm looking in closer from our live images from Air 7. I'm trying to see, do I see any skid marks? Do I see like the driver really tried to brake before they impacted that building? And I just don't see him. There's nothing so glaring that shows that if they tried to slow down, of course you have investigators on the scene. Of course they're going to look and see how fast that car was traveling when it did crash into that building. But again, it's just getting worse. This is that moment when you keep saying you get a drip of information. It's not the information you really just did not want to hear. One other person died during Leo's report is when we got that. And I know Leo just responded out on the scene, but you always see it when you are
Grammy,
a reporter and you go out on the
10.
scene, when you're sitting
Man,
here
we
and
shadow
you see
ban
those
restricted,
triage
man. It's rough.
mats laid out.
God
It
help
brings
me.
a lot of us back to a lot of stories that just always have some heartbreaking ramifications.
No, my revenue.
And to be honest, we don't see those often.
Rarely,
They
so
plan,
rare.
they train
Thank you for the time.
for the triage, but we just don't see it too often. Eyewitness News reporter Leo Stallworth again. He was with us a moment ago. He's still on the ground speaking to a potential witness. Leo, what do you have?
I was just going to go to the Thai restaurant here.
I'm here with Tyler, and Tyler did not see what happened, but he heard everything that was involved in this tragedy. Man, what did it sound like?
Yeah, I was just walking down the street to the Thai restaurant here. I heard a loud boom coming from down over the street over here. And I walked down here, I see a car right inside the building and
Inside of the ranch market.
inside the ranch market, the bakery aisle right here. I usually go here all the time,
Yeah.
so
Thank God you weren't there at that time.
it's quite sad, honestly.
And then you came out to see all the
Yeah.
activity, and now that you know, 3 people are dead, dude. 3 people have lost their lives. 2 still injured. We do not know the severity of the injuries, but it could possibly slip into being grave. It's just a horrible situation. You heard it, you saw it. What are your thoughts now?
This is horrible because this is my childhood around here. I've been born and raised in West LA, so seeing something like this really is sad, and so I hope everyone is well.
You don't know anyone involved in this, do you?
Hopefully I do not. I mean, I know a lot of friends who love to come out here all the time, so hopefully
So you got to check on them to make
yeah,
sure.
I got to check my West LA. People who live in Westwood, all my friends are out here. They live literally right down the block over here, so I'm going to check on them. I'm like shaking right now. So
Sorry, man. We appreciate your time, and let's hope that no one you knows is involved in this tragedy, okay?
I appreciate it.
All right. Thank you for taking a second,
Thank
brother.
you.
We appreciate that. In a few minutes, I will be speaking to someone who says that they witnessed what happened here. They were here shortly before the car rammed into the ranch market. They saw everything. They saw that vehicle smacking into people, and hopefully we're going to get them over here in just a few minutes and talk to them about what unfolded. And I'm sure they're shaking just like this gentleman was shaking while he was trying to do this interview with us, and I could see him visibly shaking. This is just heartbreaking. There's so much going on in our country. There's so much going on in our state, and then for something this horrific on a scale this large to happen, 3 people gone just like that, 2 in the hospital, critically injured, obviously. This is just a horrible situation. I'll send it back to you right now, and I'm going to go try to find this person who witnessed it and get them over here, okay?
All right. Well, Leo, thank you so much for that interview with Tyler. Again,
I mean,
you
what
could
happened?
see
So
him.
they said the
He was
witness stayed
really
behind. I mean, the
shaken and in shock
that drove
by
the car
what
in
he
there.
heard, and he was just walking. He was going to get lunch, and he's from this area, so you feel him visibly heartbroken, going, "I hope I don't know anybody who was hurt." But again, people do live in this area. It looks like it's more of a business area, but people live here. Like we were saying earlier, Mark, they're going to lunch, and this happened. He didn't see it, but he heard it, and he felt like it was a big boom.
Yeah, I think with so many people, the natural response for someone like Tyler is that hypothetical, the what if, the fact that he knows the store, he knows the area, and it's tough when you start thinking about that. And you see right there to the left, the bottom left of your screen, unfortunately, one of the tents that has been put up for one of the victims who passed away from the impact. So one body, at least, on scene. It's possible that the others who passed away, the 2 others, were taken from the scene by ambulance, perhaps passed away at a hospital. That is unclear, or that someone is still inside the supermarket as well.
Right, and we know that it happened in the bakery department. But again, we do have reporters on the scene. We're certainly trying to get as much information as possible. Leo said that the public information officer is going to address the media to discuss what happened, the circumstances leading to this crash. But again, you can see this whole area cornered off. You're not going to be able to go to this area. If you need to get around this area, you're going to have to find an alternate route. But again, we're trying to find out exactly what caused this driver to lose control, to crash into the bakery department. And you did see just a moment ago, looked like there was building safety people going in with their hard hats right now, trying to assess the situation and how safe this structure is.
Yeah, I was just speaking to a coworker here who gathers information for us. Unclear exactly what the circumstances are at the moment, but we do know that some people were trapped for sure. It's unclear if some of those victims who passed are potentially still under the vehicle. That's something that we're looking into, but that's a possibility. So some of the bodies may still be inside the store and under that vehicle, which we do know now is a Mercedes sedan.
Yeah, obviously probably pretty heavy, but the impact it's just remarkable because I don't know if the door's open. You don't see a bunch of smashed glass anywhere. It must have smashed inside. Again, we're trying to effort as much information. We are going to get the latest information from LA firefighters, LAPD on exactly what happened, what the injuries are, and how they're going to move forward with this investigation.
Colleen Sullivan and Mark Cotterovis here on the desk. Thank you for joining us for this breaking coverage on our ABC7 streaming channels. We will have the very latest online, abc7.com, and coming up on Eyewitness News at 3 p.m.
This has been breaking news on Eyewitness News. Started first to breaking news happening around you. Download the ABC7 Eyewitness News app. This has been breaking news.
But we'll follow up. We'll keep following up to see what's up with that. It's crazy how you could just be shopping, you could be going about your day with family at the store, whatever, and some car just comes barreling through. What the hell happened? Medical condition, DUI. Jesus. Jeez. Yeah, please hit the like button. Appreciate that, guys. I'm gonna be posting updates and stuff for the Nancy story on Facebook when I can, if you have Facebook or on the clips page. A lot of crazy stuff happening. Almost too much. Can't even keep up. Damn, yo. All right, guys. Yes, I'll be around. I'll catch you later. All right. Thank you so much for joining me in the live. Pray for those people and those families. Can't believe 3 dead, because there's other crashes I've seen. Nobody's hurt, or maybe one person hurt, but to have 3 dead. How does this person live with themselves? That person that crashed into all these people. What the fuck? It's insane. All right, guys. Peace.